If you guys are not even involved in Bitcoin, you are, because every other article you read, Bitcoin 100,000, Bitcoin, as if it's a big deal. Okay, but yes, obviously, it's a massive benchmark. 100,000, six figures, never been six figures before, right? But attached to that, you guys will be probably were being pushed all these articles about Michael Saylor. Michael Saylor, who's this guy? Michael Saylor. MicroStrategy. I think all of you probably here know what they are, and I've been talking about it last, I don't know, 4 months. I mean, I think on the first episode I talk about MicroStrategy and BITX and Bitcoin ETFs and Bitcoin itself, and been talking about it. And I said, this thing is going sideways for 7 months. This looks like a base that when it does break out, technically, right, at 72, after going sideways or in trading range for 6-7 months, it broke out. Sure enough, my target initially, I think it's going to blow right through 100. It's going to get up to 110 probably. That's my target, initial target. And then it'll probably pull back to maybe, I don't know, 80, 90, whatever. And but Bitcoin is not to be traded. But then this segment's topic is going to be, which I'm going to post this actually as an individual video, genius or gambler. Who am I talking about? Michael Saylor. Okay. And what is his playbook? Okay, so last earnings quarterly report that came out about a month ago, this is all public information, by the way. I'm not getting this like some insider or something. No, but what I'm doing is I'm interpreting it. I'm reading the tea leaves and trying to figure out how to play the game correctly and understand what he's doing. So about a month ago, he came out during the conference call and said, we're going to issue, this is called a $42 billion plan. Over the next 3 years, we're going to issue $42 billion, $21 billion in convertible debt and $21 billion in at-the-market stock operations in equity. Now, you're going to say, Sergio, well, that's going to dilute the existing shareholders. But no, I'm going to explain that in a minute. And at the end, I'm going to give my verdict. But you guys probably know what my verdict is already. No secret. If he's a genius or a gambler, right? Okay. So he has an existing company called MicroStrategy. It's an IT company. They do software and stuff. Is it a super profitable company like Google and Apple? No, it's not. It's never been. But this guy figured out that, I'm going to make my company a proxy or a surrogate for Bitcoin. He's been a believer in Bitcoin 5-6 years ago as well. So long story short, he said 42 billion in Bitcoin. Well, if he just bought that 42 billion over the next 3 years, Bitcoin is still going to be higher, because this guy is not buying and trading like a lot of jockeys do. Oh, buy 100, sell it at 120, buy back at 103. I'm like, no. He's buying and holding, period. And he knows it's a finite asset. Now he knows all these other corporations are coming in buying Bitcoin for their treasury assets. He knows kind of with a Bitcoin friendly, Gary Gensler, by the way, the head of SEC, who was the killer of crypto for years because he hated the crypto. He wouldn't allow these ETFs, right? IBIT and all that stuff, Fidelity and BlackRock ETF for Bitcoin to come around. Well, he's gone. As of January, first week of January, I think he said he's going to resign. I'm going to buy, Mr. Gensler. Have a nice one. Long story short, Michael Saylor is seeing this. So what is he doing? He's front running everybody. I mean, he goes, 100,000 is nothing. My goal is like 13 million in 20 years. What do you guys think MicroStrategy stock is going to do? It's 400 now, or 420, 430, whatever. What do you guys think he's going to do? Yes, he's diluting by issuing shares. But the buyers of these convertible bonds who can convert into shares and dilute a little bit more are buying the stock and paying him no interest. Why? Because at the moment, there's something that you guys, if you don't understand anything, you guys have to understand this. MicroStrategy holds at the moment about $35 billion in Bitcoin, physical Bitcoin. Okay. Yesterday, when the stock opened at 540, and also MicroStrategy has 210 million shares outstanding. So 210 million shares times 540, okay, is about 115, 120 billion dollars. That was at the open yesterday at 6:30 a.m. Okay. Their Bitcoin holdings are 35 billion. The stock is at 120 billion. Well, 120 divided by 35 is about 3.5. So that's the NAV. It's selling 3.5 times their Bitcoin holdings. To me, and to a lot of to the market, obviously, because we know what happened yesterday. It went from 540 to 370, literally. Okay. So that's too high. So I figure now 3.5x is too high. 4x is too high. Okay, but what is fair? Well, at 370 yesterday, company is worth 75 billion. So that's about 2x of their Bitcoin holdings. Well, this weekend he's going to announce, I'm pretty sure, another 40 or 60,000 Bitcoin that he bought already. Okay. Well, now their Bitcoin holdings are, let's say, are about 40 billion. Well, MicroStrategy, if you buy a share of MicroStrategy, you're buying a leveraged, volatility pumped up product of Bitcoin. Can you do that with IBIT, which is the Bitcoin ETF, or BITX? Yeah, you can, but to me, important thing is understanding what he's doing, and don't blindly go by. So my point is, this is what happened to MicroStrategy stock yesterday. You guys see this on the right-hand side, the chart? Literally, that was 540 at the open. Got hammered, went up. Although there was also, somebody who came out with a tweet saying that they're shorting the stock. I mean, you got to be the, I don't know. Yes, they made some money during the day, and I will show you guys my position, how much money I made or lost on MicroStrategy Wednesday and Thursday. It was great. It was fine. Anyway, MicroStrategy stock turned south to snap 3-day streak of double-digit gains. The Bitcoin plays stock surged again into record territory, but then reversed sharply lower after a well-known investor's bearish call, and that happened to be Robert Citron. Stock tumbled 16.2% to close Thursday at 397. I'm like, okay, fine. But I want you to understand what MicroStrategy is doing. Basically, in the old days, when the great financial crisis happened, the Federal Reserve came in, and we used to call that the Fed put. Okay. Fed put meaning they were there to buy on everything, every time, money was needed. They were there to step up and buy. And I think this just created a $42 billion Bitcoin put by MicroStrategy and Michael Saylor. If you guys don't understand it, you can read it on the internet, or, you guys can ask me in the chat now in a minute. I will try to explain this further. But what Michael Saylor is doing is not being a gambler. He's a genius. He figured out there's a finite asset. I better get and this is not also like a, Hunt Brothers silver moment that he's trying to corner the market on Bitcoin. Of course, look, there's transactions happening. For every buyer of Bitcoin, there's a seller of Bitcoin. Somebody's selling it to him, right? Somebody's thinking 100,000 is too high. Well, Michael Saylor says it's going to be 13 million. Who cares if I buy 100,000, 200,000, 300,000, right? So to me, is he a genius? Is he a gambler? No, I definitely think he's a genius. And he has figured out exactly what Sonny Poe told me on that interview. Please go watch it on Insiders on the channel. And, he's borrowing money, not even borrowing money. It's a convertible bond, meaning it's convertible to his shares. He's, people are paying 50, 60, 70% premium over the shares because the buyers of these convertibles are not interested in the interest. They're interested in the shares because they have the right to convert those bonds into shares at, let's say, 655. Well, if Bitcoin is at 500,000, what do you guys think MicroStrategy is going to be? Let's figure 2x NAV. Okay, let's say Bitcoin goes to 200,000. Okay, not 100% from here next couple of years. All right, cool. Well, at the moment, he's going to have over 400,000 Bitcoin. That's 80 billion. Put a 2x on it is 160 billion. Stock right now is selling at 80 billion. That's a double. So they're not interested, in Bitcoin itself. They're interested in the underlying stock because I think Michael Saylor figured out a genius way of collecting money and putting it into Bitcoin without paying any interest. And that's exactly what Sonny Poe is doing.